The African National Congress disinformation campaign is in full swing, with story after story in the fawning South African press attacking others or distracting from the coming implosion. On Wednesday, News 24's Amanda Koza reported, in a shocking revelation on Tuesday afternoon, Minister in the Presidency Bezuidenhout revealed that the security cluster had identified potential risk of a coup d'etat. However, Bezuidenhout assured the nation of the country's sovereign integrity, that citizens are safe. Shocking? Not quite. It's hardly a secret that the Potemkin village of ANC leadership is a rotting corpse hanging by a thread. 12-year-olds on skateboards could even endanger this government's existence. Dysfunctional police, virtually non-existent prosecution allows gangsters and petty criminals alike to operate with impunity. The South African National Defense Force has become an institution lacking the most basic of capabilities, one even the Lesotho Defense Force could probably embarrass in combat. Headlines from just the past day: Ramaphosa accuses DA of cheaply exploiting engagements between South Africa and the U.S., The Independent Online. Right-wing nexus. President blasts DA over claims MBC Jonas denied U.S. visa. Jason Felix, News 24. The DA trying to use foreign state to affect policy changes in South Africa, according to Ramaphosa. Times Live. Kogetso Madisa. Coup fears linger. South Africa's new security strategy reveals mounting threats. News 24's Amanda Koza. But now for a bit of reasonable pushback from civil society, which actually appears in the media today. Unfortunate and ill-advised. Coup disclosure could hurt South Africa's image, experts say. News 24's Nicole McCain. Sisulu Foundation slams Bezuidenhout's coup remarks as deeply irresponsible and dangerous. The Independent Line's Simon Majidubudu. Now, one of the risks is a risk of a coup d'etat. We've identified it and put measures in place to mitigate it. Bezuidenhout said this on Tuesday. She emphasized that there had been no recent coup attempts, but said there are people planning such actions. We continuously monitor them and make sure we deal with them. Now, of course, this set off a firestorm. Who's planning it? What coup? What's going on? Or is this simply distraction? Yaki Cilliers, head of African Futures and Innovation at the Institute for Security Studies, said the term coup d'etat was unfortunate and probably unfair. He said the presidency's message appears to concern political interference rather than a military takeover. And there you have it. Yaki is 100% correct in identifying what is really in play here. ANC political shenanigans abusing their public office to further the parochial political interest of their declining party. Cilliers said a military coup is inconceivable, but that it is believable that plots to overthrow the government could emanate from certain political parties. Well, or the police. Cilliers said the military is in no state to do anything, never mind a coup. I think it was a huge mistake to make that announcement. We're trying to build investor confidence. That's ill-advised and unfortunate. Now, News 24 also reported that defense expert Ricardo Teixeira said a military coup is improbable due to the South African National Defense Force's several years of declining defense spending. He added that it's much more likely that a coup would come from the ranks of the police. True, but is that a dog whistle in support of the ANC, drawing attention to SAPS while the Mkhwanazi allegations are out there? The IOL reports that the Walter and Albertina Sisulu Foundation has harshly criticized Minister in the Presidency Bezuidenhout. To utter such claims on the parliamentary record without presenting evidence, without a public briefing, and without accountability is not merely careless, it verges on fear-mongering by executive design. Not only was it disinformation, but her actions were reckless, frightening away foreign direct investment when the ANC falsely accuses AfriForum, Solidarity, the Democratic Alliance, and the Freedom Front Plus of spreading lies damaging South Africa's reputation. Bezuidenhout grievously harmed South Africa's reputation for parochial domestic political gain. The foundation continues, instead of responding with clarity, urgency, or reform, the government has done what it increasingly does when under pressure, create a diversion. And what better distraction than the specter of a coup? 100%, spot on. That's exactly what I said when this news first broke, and I agree 100% today with the foundation. Now, the foundation said Bezuidenhout's statement risked undermining both national stability and investor confidence. For a senior cabinet minister to casually mention potential coup risk without any supporting detail or national security update risk inciting fear and breeding suspicion. And I'll add, and chasing away investors and international tourists at a minimum. The foundation says it projects instability even where none may exist, and it reinforces the worst fears of many, that this administration is willing to play loose with facts, weaponize paranoia, and erode democratic norms in a transparent but dangerous attempt to manage internal political fallout. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the African National Congress. The foundation continues with their harsh comments. Her vague and ominous language, unaccompanied by evidence or clarification, could feed speculation that the commissioner herself could be viewed as a threat, an outrageous and potentially defamatory insinuation. This less than subtle but loaded messaging creates public doubt, discredits a whistleblower, and may serve to sully Mkwanazi's character and undercut his growing public support. Now, the Foundation is on to something here, folks. This is what's really going on. Using her platform in Parliament to undermine a credible whistleblower, distort the national conversation, and deflect from political accountability is not only unethical, but it also borders on a breach of the constitutional duty to act in the public interest. In fact, I agree 100%. But we can all see what's actually going on here, no? The ANC is prepping the ground to sow doubt over Mkwanazi's allegations against Senzo Mkunu. While the ANC and MK toss around nonsensical treason allegations against AfriForum and Solidarity for simply telling the truth, and then a smear campaign appears against Democratic Alliance Member of Parliament Emma Powell over her simply stating the truth, the real action is a huge ANC cover-up happening under our very eyes. Folks, South Africa's economy is imploding, and only those losing their jobs seem to be noticing. Soon the rest of the country will notice it, and it will be too late. The 30% tariffs arrive on August 1st, and no one's doing anything to stop them. And it may be 40%. With President Trump's global 25% tariffs on auto imports in effect since early April, South Africa's auto industry is already reeling, having dropped from 9,700 autos exported to the U.S. a year ago in the most recent reporting period to just 1,100 this year. With a 25% tariff, your auto exports to the U.S. have already declined by 87% year over year. Wait till it's 30 or 40%. It'll go to zero. Now, one would think that, like dozens of other countries, with these crippling tariffs just days away, the African National Congress would be in the United States frantically working on a trade deal. But no, the Deputy President, Paul Mashatile, and 6 cabinet ministers plus 1 deputy minister are in China for a week, licking the boots of their communist overlords, begging for access to a market that Chicoms are just not going to give them access to. Just another brick in the wall, boys. Now, during Nshiveni's briefing on Tuesday, in which she revealed the National Security Strategy Report for the period of 2024 through 2028 in 2025, she assured the nation that the security cluster is solid. The same security cluster that was so well prepared for June 29th, 2021, or July 4th, 2021, the internal ANC insurrection that nearly toppled the government. Spare me the disinformation. South Africa's government is ill-prepared to face any threat, including little girls selling lemonade. Now, the Walter and Albertina Sisulu Foundation called on Parliament to exercise its oversight powers. Nshiveni must be called to account for her statements. If she has the intelligence to substantiate her remarks, she must provide it. If she does not, then her words should be withdrawn and censured. Indeed, ANC disinformation must end, folks. In fact, I call for Ramaphosa to remove her from cabinet. She's been a failure at everything she's done. She's arrogant, disrespectful. Notice the smirking face she had the entire time the videos were being played in the Oval Office. Just another political operative operating well above her capacity. It's time for Kumbutsu and Nshiveni to go find another job. What say you, South Africa? Mzansi? Cheers.